Toronto Raptors beat the Indiana Pacers 129-111 and improved to 8-5 on the season. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Raptors Rundown. I'm your host, Yusuf Abbas, and the Toronto Raptors are on fire right now. We have now won 7 of our last 8. We're on a 3-game winning streak, including a win against the Cleveland Cavaliers and now the Indiana Pacers and the Brooklyn Nets. And we're 3 games over 500 for the first time since 2022. Now, for a lot of teams, it may not seem like an accomplishment, but for us, this is huge. You know what I mean? It's a step, and it is proof that we can actually get our business done, and that we are capable of proving that we are a better team than some of these scrubs. It's a little bit harsh to the Indiana Pacers. I mean, they tried. They did the best they could. And in fact, their good players went off today. There's just only so much you can do when your team is decimated with injuries. But it started off really bad for the Toronto Raptors. I mean, it was an incredibly slow start once again. I think this is the 3rd game in a row where we've sort of started off really slow with bad offense, bad defense, letting way too easy layups and wide open threes. And it could be because we've been on the road for so long. I mean, this was the last game of our very long road trip. Hopefully we come back home and we pick up the energy to start the games a little bit. Because what happened today can't happen every single game because the bench completely saved us. We were struggling to find any offense, we were struggling to find any defense, so we decided to put in Sandro Mamukelashvili, Jamal Shead, and Colin Murray-Boyles. 3 players that have saved us in multiple games in a row. Andrew Nembhard started off the game on fire, so we couldn't find an answer for him, so we decided to put Jamal Shead on him. Offensively, we put in genuinely one of our most consistent scorers in Sandro Mamukelashvili, and then defensively and offensively, Colin Murray-Boyles is just such a good rookie and such a reliable option for us. Sandro is so sneakily athletic when he gets out in transition and when he goes up for those blocks. He's so sneakily athletic. You don't really expect it from him. There are plays where he's out running in transition faster than some of the guards. There's plays where end of shot clock he's able to put up a layup and save a possession for us. There was one play where we let in a bucket and we just run down the floor faster than him and it leads to Sandro Mamukelashvili 3. This is now 5 straight games in double digits for Sandro. And if you don't include that 0-point performance against the Memphis Grizzlies, it would be like 7 or 8 games in a row. But yeah, the bench came in, the pace picked up, we actually started getting some stops, and we basically ran the Pacers out of the gym. Colin Murray-Boyles was amazing at getting to his spot. He had some really big layups, but Jamal Shead, he's so good at finding people at their spots. Whether it's Scottie or Mamu at the dunker spot, Brandon Ingram at his mid-post range, or Emmanuel Quickley in transition, he's made it his goal to find out who has the hot hand and to make sure that they get the ball. And unlike last year, he is a much more reliable 3-point shooter, so we have him as an option as well. Starting off this game, again, we couldn't hit our threes. Scottie Barnes actually hit his 5K points at the free throw line today, so congratulations to him. RJ Barrett bounced back a lot in this game. He bounced back mainly, and I said this in the last episode, he bounced back mainly by going downhill. Sometimes all it takes to get out of a slump is just seeing that ball go through the bucket, and I think that's what sort of happened for RJ Barrett. The one thing I'm really appreciative though is that this happened now against lesser competition when it comes to his shooting slump instead of against some real competition where we will need RJ Barrett to hit his threes. Because in a game like this, he's able to sort of try shooting him out of the slump or try being extra aggressive and getting him out of the slump in a game like this. There was actually one play where he had 2 threes in the corners back to back because of offensive rebounds. We get the offensive rebound for a 3rd time and then it ends up in another RJ Barrett 3. This time he hit it. But yeah, he was really efficient tonight. One of the best scorers on the team, and it is so good to have that scoring option back, especially because we're going to be playing some really tough teams sooner rather than later. Emmanuel Quickley only took 10 shots today. He was really efficient, and he started hitting his threes in the 2nd quarter. He was really efficient. No complaints from him at all today. He was so effective in the pick and roll with Jakob Poeltl as well. We're going to talk a little bit about Jakob Poeltl because he was my man of the match today. But Emmanuel Quickley has looked so comfortable in his role in this entire road trip, and I look forward to seeing him continue this in the future. There was also a great moment where he gave his shoes to a bunch of young fans. It's apparently his shooting ability comes from the shoes, so clearly he should just find a certain shoes, I think it's the Kobe's, and just stick with them because I'm tired of these shoe changes. Our backup shooting guard conversation, Jakob Poeltl and Grady Dick were the people that got minutes today. Ochai Agbaji and James Sabato were injured, so we can't really say that they were out of the lineup today. But Jakob Poeltl and Grady Dick got the minutes. Jakob Poeltl had a couple of good minutes defensively. Offensively, it's still been a little bit shaky. I'll say this right now. On a team that's trying to win, right, compared to last season, the amount of touches you get decrease. So the importance of your touches increases. Meaning last season he got the ball so much that it didn't really matter, how efficient he was or what types of shots he was taking, or it didn't really matter if he hit the first shot or not, because he'd get another to sort of get his rhythm going. This time Max, he's gonna get like maybe 6 or 7 or 8 shots in a game. So I think it's super important that he starts off well, and it's super important for him to be efficient. This is one of my favorite Grady Dick games of the entire season, actually, because he had some incredible heads-up plays defensively. There was a period in the third quarter where the Indiana Pacers were sort of making a last-ditch run to try and cut into our lead, and Grady Dick made a bunch of great heads-up plays defensively, getting steals, which ended up in some really easy layups for him. I think he actually went on a personal 6-0 run all through fast break layups. And once again, the 3 wasn't falling today, but I have so much faith in his shot that I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about him taking good shots and being active defensively. And for the people who love defensive rating, I don't like defensive rating when it comes to players whatsoever, but if you care about defensive rating for players, Grady Dick's defensive rating is really good, so just putting it out there. I wrote this down. Scottie Barnes might be Magic Johnson. The amount of no-look passes this boy does in a game, it's ridiculous. I'm starting to lose count. We need an entire highlight reel of every single attempted no-look pass, because he completes at least 3 of them in a game. And my God, oh bro, if that one behind-the-back pass to Jakob Poeltl was completed for a highlight, that would have gone insane. I actually might have yelled in my house. But yeah, once again, Scottie Barnes understood that today it wasn't a game where they needed him to take 19 shots or 18 shots like they did against Cleveland, and he sort of took a backseat and played as the playmaker in this game. And then defensively, once again, he was incredible. If this man does not make an all-defensive team, we will riot. Eventually in the fourth quarter, Indiana they kind of got gassed, and I will say the game was a lot worse than what the score says. To end the quarter, Indiana had in the garbage time. They won the garbage time minutes by far. I felt like we could not get a stop on their garbage time players. Maybe that's a sign that they need to play more. But I will say, I made a tweet about this. It says a lot about the state of your team when one of your starters is also playing in garbage time minutes when it comes to Jeremiah Robinson Earl. He actually hit the first 3 of the game, and he ended up playing garbage time minutes for the Indiana Pacers. So that tells you the state of what they're at right now. I think Indiana's struggles has to come down to the injuries, man. There's only so much you could do. I mean, Pascal Siakam and Andrew Nembhard were incredible tonight. Pascal had 30, Nembhard had 22, and there wasn't a single other player that even hit double digits. They finally got TJ McConnell back. He wasn't the most efficient tonight. He kind of reminds me of like a point guard version of RJ Barrett, where he's really successful going downhill. But honestly, they could not get any help from anybody. Their big trade acquisition in Jay Huff from the Memphis Grizzlies to try and replace any sort of center depth that they had, he did not hit a shot until garbage time. So that didn't go well. Whether it was Ben Shepherd, who looked great last season, he struggled today. Jeremiah Robinson Earl's obviously not the best. Tony Bradley can't do much. Isaiah Jackson wasn't very good. Monte Morris, I didn't even know he played. But overall, and I know I really want to move away from the "you suck" player of the game, because it's really insulting to people, but my God, if anyone deserves it, it is Jarris Walker. You know what's bad? When I'm audibly laughing when a person takes a 3. Every single time Jarris Walker shot the ball, I had absolutely zero faith in that shot going in. And it's not just the fact that the shot isn't going in, it's the types of shots that he is taking. Is Jarris Walker capable of taking the 3s? Yes. Should he be taking transition 3s? Should he be taking contested 3s? Should he be taking contested mid-range fadeaways? No! In fact, I think one of his only 2 shots was a contested fadeaway midi that somehow went in. The shot selection from him was poor. I know this has been an issue in the past. Indiana Pacers fans have been complaining about it for a little while. And honestly, all Jarris Walker has been able to bring for the Pacers recently is defense. But he's so astronomically bad on the offensive end that they cannot go to him as a reliable scorer. And then it ends up being all their offense is for Pascal Siakam and Andrew Nembhard to create. So the Toronto Raptors decide to use their brains and double and triple both of them, leaving Jarris Walker, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, and Tony Bradley wide open. So it was really tough for them, and yeah, the game was way worse than the score said overall. For the Raptors, once again, Brandon Ingram, he's been struggling shooting the three as of late, which, you know, kind of sucks, but history says he's been at least a solid catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, so I have faith in that coming around. But the mid-range is automatic once again. He was efficient, 50% from the field, 19 points. He messed up. He missed 2 free throws, and for a 9% shooter, that was a little bit shocking. But honestly, the entire team missed free throws today. I mean, for a team that's been shooting near 100% from the free throw line in the past couple of games, we shot 62%, 26 for 42 from the line today. I am glad it happened in a game like this where it didn't really matter whatsoever, but hopefully we can figure that out, because I am not about to watch another Toronto Raptors team that can't shoot free throws. Speaking of not being able to shoot free throws, that was the only thing that Jakob Poeltl wasn't able to do today, because my god was he incredible. Player of the game goes to Jakob Poeltl by far. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, he had a steal and a block, and he was just so dominant tonight. It's a game like this where your matchup, I don't even know who's guarding him. I think it was Tony Bradley, sometimes it was Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, sometimes it was Pascal Siakam, but all the time Jakob Poeltl was basically wide open and able to score at the bucket at will. He's been so incredibly efficient as of late, and I'm just so happy to hear afterwards when what's her name, Kayla Gray is asking about the back, and he's saying, you know what, I'm feeling a lot better, and it is evident. He's just moving so much better. He's setting a lot stronger screens, and the pick and roll with him has been unstoppable recently. Yeah, the pick and roll was elite, especially in this game, and shout out Jakob Poeltl, because we had an insane 78 points in the paint, and for a team that was struggling shooting the three, we absolutely needed that. He's also just in the right spots always. He's such a good back cutter, weak side, always there in position for those no-look Scottie Barnes passes, and he's been so reliable for us. It's so happy to see the Jakob Poeltl from last season that I was just, confident that we would win the minutes that he was on the floor. In fact, before this past couple of games, we were actually losing the Jakob Poeltl minutes. Now that he's been healthy, we've been winning them by a very large margin. Some other stats from the game. This was the 9th different starting lineup for the season from Indiana. We had 33 fast break points, which was such a point of emphasis for me. We need to be the fastest team in the league. I want to be similar to the Indiana Pacers last year, where we just tear teams down with the pace that we run at. This is such a well-conditioned team. I know we are capable of this every single night. And last but not least, I just wanted to talk a little bit about our system for the offense. I talked about this in the past, but it's a different guy every night. Tonight we had 7 double-digit scores. There wasn't anyone that scored 30 points or 40 points. There wasn't anyone that scored 5. Everyone's around the 10 to 22 range. And I feel like this is such a big advantage for us, because a lot of the times teams are sort of focused on getting their superstar the ball, on getting their main scorer. We have to get him going. We have to get him started. Otherwise, we won't have any way to initiate offense. For the Toronto Raptors, it's a matter of trying to find who has the hot hand, who is on tonight, and then they start getting them the ball a lot more. There's a night where Scottie Barnes will shoot 20 shots. There's a night where he'll shoot 7. There's a night where RJ Barrett will shoot 9 shots. There's a night where he'll shoot 22. It varies amongst all our starters, amongst our bench as well. It's a different guy every night. 7 double-digit scores. This is an everybody eats offense, where we are finding everybody the ball. Everyone is contributing, scoring the ball. We're confident in everybody shooting the ball, and it's just been working so beautifully offensively. I look back at how worried I was about this offense and how everyone was going to fit together, but this entire team has been so selfless when it comes to giving up the ball and finding the hot hand. And defensively, there's been, a little bit of inconsistency there. I think it's something that we will continuously improve on, but credit to Darko Rajakovic, because honestly, this season he's had some very timely timeouts. There's been times when we've been leaking oil, there's been a lapse on defense, and Darko Rajakovic takes a timeout, and we come out running a set play or whatever, and we end up scoring every single time. He's done a really good job at timing those. I wish he was better at challenges, but that's a conversation for another day. I also want to give credit to Emmanuel Quickly. I think this is the first time that we've successfully been doing some 2-for-1 since I think Kyle Lowry was a Toronto Raptor. We were able to end both the second and third quarters with a shot both times. In the second quarter, Immanuel Quickley perfectly executed a 2-for-1 where he went with 30 seconds left in the shot clock, passed it to a corner for a wide open RJ Barrett. Then we went down the floor, Indiana scored, and then Immanuel Quickley was sort of slowly dribbling the ball up the court with 6 seconds left, and suddenly burst of speed, hits a layup, and we end the quarter with a bucket. It was so huge for morale, so huge for momentum, and it's just so good that we've been able to do that once again. Next up for us is the Charlotte Hornets team that honestly we cannot overlook once again. Yes, their record is deceiving, but they have gone down to the wire with Milwaukee. They, for at least I think half of the game, competed with Oklahoma City Thunder and kept it close. It's a team that we can't mess around with. Concanipple is a hot shooter. Miles Bridges has been balling recently, and they might have LaMelo Ball back, who's due a good game, honestly. Ryan Kalkbrenner is also having a great season, so we cannot let them get any offensive rebounds. I'm looking at you, Jakob Poeltl, once again. Another key to the game, turning the ball over. We cannot do that anymore. We turn the ball over way too much against Indiana. Charlotte's a team that likes to go fast, that likes to run in transition. Turn the ball over 14 times against Indiana. I'm looking for 10 or less turnovers against the Charlotte Hornets. And last but not least, the key to the game for the Brooklyn game and the Indiana game, take care of business. You are a better team than the Charlotte Hornets. Act like it and take care of business and move to 9-5. You have Atlanta, who's been on this incredible winning streak. You have to keep up with them. Orlando's starting to finally figure it out. They almost won against the Houston Rockets, so you need to keep up with them. And then the rest of the East is just, the top of the East is very good. Whether it's Cleveland, New York, they're going to continue to win games. So if you want to be a playoff team this season, you have to get the job done against these easy teams. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the love and support on the previous episodes. Make sure to continue running up the numbers. We're trying to post on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you follow us on all those platforms. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next Raptors Rundown.